Level 1, $0. You haul other people's garbage for cash. And in 30 years, you'll be worth $100 billion. Off the exact stuff these people are paying you to make disappear. But not today. Today you're 22, sweating through your only shirt at a pool party you weren't invited to. You're not a guest. You're the help. You're dragging a cracked toilet out of a MC Mansion garage when the owner, a guy named Marcus, stops you from using the bathroom. Hoses around back. A guest asks him where he found you. Marcus doesn't even lower his voice. They come with the dumpster. Everybody laughs. And you laugh too, half a second late. Because you can't afford to be the guy who doesn't get the joke when the joke is him. Then Marcus tips you, not cash. He flicks a little pine tree air freshener at your chest. Compliments of the house, you'll want it. For the truck, and yourself. You needed the $40. You got a tree on a string. Here's the part nobody at that party knows. In the trash he told you to just dump. There's a drawer full of red foreclosure letters. The whole mansion is a costume. And one day Marcus is going to be broke, and you're going to be the man he comes to, hat in hand. But that's not the part that keeps you up at night. The part that keeps you up is why you keep the freshener. Level 2, $25,000. The truck costs $1,200 and hesitates at every green light like it's reconsidering its life. The company name is on the door in paint pen written by you the night before. Your first real customer holds the card you printed at the library and pinches it by one corner. Like it's damp, like it might be contagious. You don't say anything. You need the job more than the dignity. The job is a hoarder house. The daughter meets you in the driveway and won't come closer to the door than the mailbox. I physically can't go in there, she says, and you believe her, because you can smell it from the curb and you do this for a living. She haggles you down $90 while standing in the open air you're about to give up for 6 hours. You take it. 25 grand a year is not a number that says no. 3 hours in, elbow deep in a kitchen that hasn't been a kitchen since the second Bush administration, you find a Folgers can with $1,900 rolled up inside. $1,900. You make that in a month. You carry it to the driveway and hand it to her. She doesn't say thank you. She counts it. In front of you. Then counts it again, slower, watching your face like the math is a test you're failing. That's the part nobody warns you about. It's not that they think you're trash. It's that they think you'd steal theirs. Here's the other part. The smell does not come off. You shower twice. You buy the body wash that smells like a glacier. You go on a date anyway, a good one, until she leans in, pauses, and asks if you work outside. You tell the truth. It's the one luxury you can afford. The date ends before the appetizers. You're 23, single, and you smell like other people's endings, but the hoarder house pays you back. The daughter who counted the money twice tells her whole cul-de-sac that the junk guy returned $1,900 he could have pocketed clean. By month's end, you've cleared 2 more garages, an estate, and a flooded basement. $3,100 cash. Your reputation, it turns out, is the only thing about you that doesn't smell. So you do the math on a folding chair, shoes off, hands pink from the bleach. You're the cheapest, dirtiest, most honest man in 50 miles, and the honesty is the only part anyone will pay for. The lifting is killing your back. The lifting is not where the money is. You hire one guy named Dale who needs the work worse than you do. Now there are 2 trucks, 2 backs that aren't yours. And watching Dale load a sofa you used to load yourself, you understand the first real secret of money. It was never about being willing to lift it. It's about being the last one who has to. You don't know it yet, but that single thought is the whole $100 billion machine. Everything after this is just adding zeros to it. Level 3, $100,000. You wrap the trucks. Real logo, real font. A phone number you can read from the next lane. It costs $4,000 and it's the best money you've ever spent, because the same week the trucks go from white to branded, the neighbors who used to step back from you start flagging you down for quotes. The logo did in a week what your face couldn't do in a year. You notice this. You're starting to notice everything. At a backyard barbecue, the same kind where a guy once took a half step back from you, you say a different sentence. I own a removal company, 6 trucks. And the guy who stepped back last summer steps in. The 3 feet of air you got handed for being the junk guy closes to about 1 foot for being the junk guy with 6 trucks. You clock the distance in inches, the way a man watches a number he's been waiting on. Then comes the estate job that teaches you what the inches are worth. Big house, dead father, a son who never tells you his name. He calls you champ, sends you to the service entrance. Watches you carry his father's life to the curb like he's counting the silverware against you. In a balled-up gym sock in the closet, you find a Rolex. You photograph it. You log it. You hand it to him in the driveway. And the look on his face isn't gratitude. It's shock. Naked shock that you didn't steal it. That look is worse than the service entrance. The service entrance says you're beneath him. The look says he assumed you were a thief, you proved him wrong, and somehow that disappointed him. But here's what Champ does next. He leaves you a 5-star review, not because you were fast. Because you were honest. Honest was unexpected, and unexpected is a story rich people tell each other. 3 more estate jobs come in off that one review. Your integrity scales faster than your trucks. So you lean into the part everyone else is too proud for. Dumpster rentals, porta potties for the contractors. The early talk of pest control. Ugly businesses. Businesses people make a face about at dinner. And one night, parked outside a job, it lands. Nobody's competing with you. Not because you're a genius. Because the work is beneath them. Every guy with an MBA wants the clean business, the app, the brand you sip. Nobody fights you for the porta potties. The contempt is the moat. The exact thing that made Marcus flick a freshener at your chest is the thing no competitor will lower himself to touch. You're going to get rich in the blind spot of every man who ever looked down on you. One day that blind spot is worth $100 billion. Tonight it's worth a handshake because a regional contractor, name on signs all over the county, offers to subcontract your whole crew for his developments. He shakes your hand and mentions, almost as a joke, that his old partner blew his whole life up a couple years back. Total flameout. You ask the partner's name. He says it was Marcus. Level 4, $500,000. The first time you wear the suit into a bid meeting, something happens that has never happened to you in a room before. Nobody can smell the work. It's a $300 suit, off the rack, tailored by a guy in a strip mall. But they look at it and they see a man, not a trade. A woman from the developer's office leans over after the pitch and says, "You're one to watch." You almost laugh. Your old crew boss said those exact words once, about a new forklift. You go home and run an experiment. You open your dating profile and change one thing. Not the photos, not the face, the job. Junk hauler becomes owner services group. Same man, same haircut. The replies go from 1 in 20 to 1 in 3. You read the number twice. Your jaw didn't change. Your shoulders didn't change. 3 words after a comma changed. You screenshot it. Not to show anyone, you'll never show anyone. For the part of you that still wants to believe the lean across the table was about you. It was never about you. It was about the comma. The label keeps growing. At a dinner, the woman you're seeing introduces you. This is the founder of the company. Title first, name never. At 0, you were they come with the dumpster. At $100,000, Champ. At $500,000, the founder. Same man. Bigger label. Then, at an industry mixer with a free bar and worse wine, you see him, Marcus, in a suit that fits worse than yours, working the room as a turnaround consultant, which is what broke men call themselves when the turnaround they need is their own. Smiling too hard at people pretending to listen. He gets to you. He doesn't recognize you. Why would he? The last time he saw your face, it was below the line where his eyes bothered to focus. He hands you his card, and you take it the way your very first customer took yours. By one corner, like it's damp. You don't tell him about the freshener still hanging in a truck you barely drive. You don't tell him about the foreclosure letters in his garbage 8 years ago. You put his card in your pocket next to nothing and let him keep talking. Because you figured out the thing that makes you dangerous. Marcus's mansion was a costume. Your suit is a costume. The whole room is men in disguises pricing each other by the fabric. The only difference is you know yours is fake and you can read everyone else's. But there's a tax on knowing. You can read every room and still can't stand in one as yourself. The suit works because it hides the exact thing you came from, which means every handshake is a quiet daily agreement to never mention who you are. That skill lands you a city contract by the end of the month. And the city contract brings the email. The developer wants you to take over cleaning and pest control for the entire portfolio. Consolidate everything under one company. Yours. You say yes. The yes comes with lawyers. Level 5, $1 million. The consolidation closes on a Thursday. By Friday, your girlfriend says a sentence that rearranges the furniture in your chest. When we expand the pest division, you never agree to a we. No conversation, no question, no negotiation. The pronoun just moved in the night, the way a border moves while both countries sleep. And in the morning, the map is different, and nobody will admit they redrew it. You don't correct her. You file it. You're getting good at filing things. You start getting invited to a different kind of party. And at this kind, nobody asks what you do. That's a $100,000 question, a little crude, a little close to the smell. They ask, who's your operator? And what's your multiple? Same X-ray, nicer machine. They've stopped pricing your labor and started pricing your enterprise value, but they are still, absolutely, pricing you. The software got an update. The function did not. Then there's the woman at dinner. She finds out you made your money in waste and sanitation, and you watch her face run the calculation in real time. You wait for the half step back. It doesn't come. Instead, she turns to her friends and says with a straight face, he's in essential infrastructure, completely recession-proof. Same garbage, same smell. Sexy now because of the comma. You used to get the chair slid away from you for this. Now you get rebranded into a man worth bragging about. Same table, same kind of person, same work. You don't know whether to be flattered or to throw up. You order more wine. And then, across a charity table you paid $8,000 to sit at. There he is again, Marcus. He's clawing back, and tonight he's pitching. He doesn't know you're you. He's pitching you on a roll-up play in his old sector, all upside, the deck heavy on adjectives and light on margins. He needs a check. He needs your check. You're almost level with him now. One night you were the kid he wouldn't let use his bathroom. Tonight he's calling you partner and asking you to fund his comeback. You could end him with one word. You could say freshener and watch his face fall through the floor. You don't. You do something colder. You read his numbers, the way you read every costume in every room now, and you tell him the truth. His margins don't work. His last venture is still bleeding on the books. You'll pass. Clinical. The way he was personal, you are professional. He thanks you for your time. He still doesn't know who you are. That's when the revenge stops being a fantasy and becomes a spreadsheet. It's almost disappointing how little it stirs in you. You wanted to feel a fire. You feel due diligence. You drive home in a car with no rearview clutter because the freshener lives in the glove box now. Retired, a relic from a man you used to be. The next morning, a private equity firm calls. They want to roll your whole company up as a platform. The sorting is about to move off the spreadsheet, and onto paper you have to sign. Level 6, $10 million. They roll you up into a platform, a word that means your company is now one Lego piece in a bigger company, and you are the CEO of a regional services conglomerate. Junk, dumpsters, toilets, pest control, cleaning crews in 40 cities. An empire built entirely out of the things people pay to never think about. A national fund is already circling, already whispering the word IPO, but that's a cage for later. And at events now, strangers approach you in a line, not all at once, in sequence. One makes eye contact across the room. Then a second appears at your elbow with a reason to be standing there. Then a third drops a mutual name. You start timing the gaps because you can't help it anymore. You measure everything. 90 seconds. About 90 seconds between approaches. You genuinely can't tell if it's coordinated, or instinct, or if you've finally lost your mind. All three feel possible. None of them feel good. A few relationships later, you start dating a woman who has her own money. Real money, not doing okay money. And for the first time in years you exhale, because surely a woman who already has it can't be running the spreadsheet on yours. Then she introduces you to her friends. My partners in services. Very recession-proof. Partner. In services. Recession-proof. You waited the whole sentence for the word boyfriend. You got an asset class. Even equal money runs the appraisal. The spreadsheet didn't vanish when she got rich. It upgraded from Excel to a Bloomberg terminal. It gets quieter from here. The quieter it gets, the more it costs. Your assistant runs your calendar now. All of it, including the personal dinners, because there are too many to track and you're too tired to track them. So when a woman you matched with wants a first date, she books it through your assistant's inbox. You didn't design this. Nobody decided your love life should have a front desk. It assembled itself, quietly, logistically. The way every cage you're in assembled itself, one reasonable decision at a time, until you look up and you're a calendar event another person had to approve. But the empire pays you back the way it always does in one clean transaction. You acquire your first competitor. A company bigger than your whole operation was back when it was just you, Dale, and 2 hesitating trucks. And the same week the deal closes, an email comes in from a name you almost forgot. Champ, the country club son from the estate job. The service entrance? The Rolex? The face that fell when you didn't steal it? He's broke now. He's asking you for a job. Regional manager. You hire him. You pay him well. You never once mention the service entrance because the not mentioning is the whole revenge. And he'll feel it every day without you saying a word. It should taste like something. It tastes like nothing. Because at 2 a.m, in a house you own outright, in a city where you employ 4,000 people, you finally understand the math you've been doing your whole life. You can buy any building on that skyline. You cannot make a single stranger stand close to you without checking your number first. The 3 feet. The 3 feet you spent 30 years trying to close. It didn't close. It vanished. And you have no idea yet that vanishing is so much worse. Level 7, $100 million. The platform goes public. There's a bell. There's your name in a font you didn't choose, on a building you do own. And there's a tabloid 3 days later running a photo of you at a gala with a mystery companion. The mystery companion is your sister. You laugh for about 4 seconds. Then your phone buzzes. Your actual girlfriend has texted about the article, 90 seconds after it posted. The same 90 seconds as the strangers in the line at the events. The number has stopped being a coincidence and started being a law of physics that only applies to you. Before the next relationship even starts, your attorney sends an NDA. She reads it. She signs it. She doesn't blink. You ask if it bothers her, and she shrugs. Everyone at your level does this. It's just paperwork. Just paperwork. A document that litigates your feelings before the first dinner. A signature that turns intimacy into a contract before intimacy has happened. You repeat the word paperwork in your head for an hour, trying to find the place where it stopped meaning what it used to mean. You can't find it. That's its own kind of answer. Then your nephew fixes everything and ruins everything in a single sentence. He's 7. Family party. He tugs your sister's sleeve and asks, loud, the way kids ask, why do people hold their nose a little when they say what uncle does? $100 million. A foundation. A board seat. And a 7-year-old can still see the flinch. The smell never washed off. You just made it expensive. You go quiet for a week. And then the universe hands you the moment you've been waiting 25 years for. Your foundation acquires a distressed portfolio. A fire sale, pennies on the dollar. And bolted to the wreckage, clinging on as a minor consultant, is a name. Marcus. You are now, in every way the paperwork measures, his creditor. The man who decides if he eats. He's across the conference table. He squints at you. Something surfaces in his face, slow, like a body rising from deep water. Wait, he says. Weren't you? You slide a pine tree air freshener across the table. Your company gives them out by the case now, branded, your logo on the trunk. You've handed out 1 million of them. Compliments of the house, you say. His face falls through the floor, the exact way you pictured it. The exact words he used on a 22-year-old he wouldn't let use his bathroom. You waited 25 years for that sentence to land. And it lands, and it's perfect, and it changes absolutely nothing inside you. That's the thing nobody tells you about revenge. It's not a fire. It's a calendar event. You schedule it, it happens, it's over by lunch, and the wound it was supposed to close is still sitting there, exactly where it was, smelling faintly of pine. You drive home $100 million rich, having finally won, feeling like you lost something you can't name. And you do the only math that's ever told you the truth. In 20 years, this number will have 3 more zeros, and you will still be the 22-year-old in the driveway, getting handed a freshener. The zeros never changed the question. They just changed how much it cost to ask it. Level 8, $1 billion. At a private dinner, a woman sits down beside you already knowing your net worth, your foundation's 3 focus areas, your last 2 relationships, and your mother's maiden name. She learned all of it before the appetizers. You know exactly one thing about her. That choosing the seat next to you required research. The information runs one direction now, toward you, never from you. You're the most studied man in every room and the least known. An ex makes it worse. She posts something, long, public, careful, about loving a man who smelled like work and spent his whole life acting like he'd snuck into his own house. She doesn't use your name. She doesn't need to. You read it twice. The worst part isn't that it's cruel. The worst part is that it's exact. She saw from the outside the thing you could never see from the inside. She left, and the leaving gave her the angle. So you do the inventory. You count the women in your daily life. 2 assistants, a communications lead, a philanthropy director, a wellness coach, an estate manager. 6 women, all warm, all real. all on payroll. Then you go looking for the last woman who entered your life with no professional reason attached. No deal, no role, no inbox. You go back 1 year, 2, 3. You find no one. You're surrounded by people. You're completely alone. Both true at the same time in the same room, and $1 billion cannot get them to cancel out. The distance has gone all the way through the looking glass. A surgeon. A serious woman who opens chests for a living. Steps 6 inches left before a camera flash without thinking to give you the frame. Trained by your gravity the way the tide is trained by the moon. You didn't ask. It just happens around you now, this bending. And you would give the entire billion to have one stranger step 3 feet back from you honestly. The way they did at that barbecue, when stepping back was the rudest thing in the world and also the most real. Then Marcus sends an email. No pitch. No portfolio. No ask. 1 line. I owe you an apology for something you probably don't remember. You remember. You remember the cracked toilet and the hose around back and the freshener flicked at your chest. You could write all of it back to him, every detail, and watch him drown in it. You don't reply at all. Not out of cruelty. Out of exhaustion. The fight you carried for 30 years just quietly set itself down, and there's nothing underneath it but the floor. You sit in a house the size of the hotel you couldn't afford a room in at 22. And you realize you got everything you climbed for, and the climb deleted the only thing you actually wanted. To be in a room with someone who didn't know your number. So you decide to do something insane. You're going to put on old clothes, give a fake name, and clear out one garage with your own 2 hands. You dig the original freshener out of the glove box where it's lived for a decade. Cracked now, the green gone gray. And put it in your jacket pocket. 30 years, and you still can't say why. Just to find out if the 3 feet is still out there. Just to see if a stranger can still look at you and see nothing. Level 9, $100 billion. Your foundation's annual gala, 400 people. A woman is seated beside you who knows your 5-year giving plan and your position on 3 regulations and does not know your middle name. Several guests have been briefed on what to raise with you, which side to approach from, how long to stay. You watch the whole choreography from above, like weather. You are the event. You are the loneliest person at it. The woman beside you is warm and sharp and perfectly calibrated, and you want to ask her one question. What would you say to me if no one was watching? If I own nothing? If I were the guy who came to take your trash away? You don't ask. You already know. You leave early. No driver. You drive yourself across a city you used to haul from to a street with chain-link fences and porch lights. Old jeans. A name that isn't yours. You answered an ad from an old woman who needs her late husband's garage cleared and can pay $140 cash. She meets you at the door. She doesn't step back. She doesn't smell a tycoon or a trade or a number. She smells a man who showed up. She offers you her bathroom. She calls you the fake name like it's worth saying. Halfway through, she brings you a glass of water and stands close while you drink it. Close enough that you can hear her humming, telling you about her husband who collected license plates and bad luck. For 20 minutes, you are no one's headline. No gravity, no line of strangers. Just a man clearing a garage, hands pink from the work again. When you carry out the last box, she notices the truck you borrowed, and she does something that drops you through 30 years in a single second. She reaches up and hangs a pine tree air freshener on the mirror. For the road, son, you did an honest day. You've earned it. In your jacket pocket, the cracked one Marcus gave you presses against your ribs. 2 trees now. One handed down in contempt, one handed up in kindness. 30 years and $100 billion apart. The same object. The same cheap green tree on the same string that Marcus flicked at your chest at 22 to tell you what you were worth. Handed to you now by a stranger for free to tell you what you were worth. It costs her nothing. It is the most expensive thing you have felt in years. You drive off with the tree swinging on the mirror, the way it swung the first night. And you finally understand the math you started in that driveway 30 years and $100 billion ago. The freshener was never the insult. The insult was that for 30 years, nobody handed you one for free. You roll the window down. For the first time you can remember, the smell coming off you smells like nothing but a long, honest day. The tree has come home. Same shape, same string, opposite hands. You don't try to resolve it. You just drive. If this one stayed with you, leave a thought below. Subscribe for more.